So another game that my students enjoy playing is a game called Rock, Paper, Scissors Cheerleader. And this is a great getting to know you game, a great name game, especially for the beginning of the year. So you're going to have all the players spread out. They're going to find a partner and stand face to face with them. And they're going to play one game of rock, paper, scissors. It's not best 2 out of 3. It's just one game, one winner. Okay. So the player that wins is going to travel around and find other players to play against. The player that loses is now going to become the cheerleader. So if I'm playing John and I lose, I'm going to follow John and cheer him on. So yay, John, come on, John, let's go. And then John plays someone else. Well, John loses to Sally. So now John and I become cheerleaders for Sally. So this is going to continue until there's only 2 leaders and 2 groups of cheerleaders. So the students love this game, and it gets them really energized throughout the day. So if I see my first period especially walking in and they're looking kind of sluggish, I'll take 5 minutes out of class to play rock, paper, scissors cheerleader because it does get them energized throughout the day. So again, I'll show you a video of how this activity would look in your classroom. And go! As you can see, they're having a lot of fun and get them energized throughout the day. So that's just a quick game to really engage them in class for the day. So the next one I'm going to go over is a word association game called Got It. So you're going to have students stand in a large circle. They're going to enter the large circle, and on the count of 3, they're going to say the first word that pops into their heads. One might say football, and the other one says ocean. So when a word pops into someone's head on the outside of the circle, they're going to yell, "Got it!" And so those 2 people who have gotten it are to enter the circle, and then on your count of 3, they're going to say the first word that pops in to their heads. So one may say beach and one may say vacation. And you're going to keep going until the 2 people in the middle get the same answer. So until they come up with the same word. So again, one may say beach, one may say vacation, and 2 more students may come into the middle after they've gotten it, and both say summer. And then that's when the game would end. So I will play you a video of what that would look like. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Nice.
Play nice. Play. 1, 2, 3, go.
Fun.
Fun school.
Got it.
1, 2, 3,
Recess.
Friends and recess.
Got it.
Got it.
1, 2, 3, go.
Hang out.
Teacher and hangout.
Got it.
I got it.
1, 2, 3, go.
Student.
Student and field trip. Student and field trip.
Got it.
1, 2, 3.
Bus.
Aquarium. Aquarium and what?
Bus.
Bus. Aquarium and bus.
Got it.
1, 2, 3.
Tank.
Tank and vacation. Tank and vacation.
I got it.
1, 2, 3. Go.
Fish.
I was fishing. Fish and diving.
Got it.
Oh my gosh.
Got it.
Oh. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Ocean. So that's just a fun game, word association game that students can really get involved with. And it's just first word that pops into your head. And that's a good beginning game for improv as well, when you're starting that unit, for them to really delve into listening and responding, and saying the first thing that pops into your head, and takes away the scariness of acting an improv scene without any preparation, and it kind of leads them into that next level. All right, like I said, I'm giving you a variety of games. So now we're going to move into some movement games and some games that are going to create physical shapes. So this is one of my favorite games. This is called Location Pantomime. And with this game, you're going to choose 4 players. Player A is given a location and begins doing an activity that someone would do at that location or in that location. So, for instance, if player A, if you give them, they're in an office, they may sit down in a chair. I allow students to use chairs, but I don't allow them to use props. And they may start typing on a typewriter or on a computer. And player B is watching. So once player B figures out where the location is, they're going to enter the scene as well and become a new participant in this location. So say we are using the example of in an office. So that player B may be coming in and handing player A paperwork, and then going over, and they're the frustrated one that's like, oh, I can't figure anything out. So they're becoming a different person in this same location. I encourage students to not copy what person A is doing, but to become their own character in this scene and work with player A to create a scene with a beginning, middle, and an end. So once player B enters, player C is watching, and then player C does the same thing as player B, enters the scene once he or she figures out what the location is and becomes a new character. Player D then turns around and watches the action, and then they will enter as soon as they figure out what is going on. Once player D enters, I usually let the scene go for about 15 more seconds, depending on, just like improv rules, depending on how the scene is going, and are they raising their stakes? Are they creating the scene, or is it becoming stagnant? But I give everyone at least about 15 seconds to play out the full scene with all 4 participants. And I encourage students to, again, work together, create interesting blocking, create interesting shapes. Don't stay in one location and be stagnant, and to raise your stakes and work together, and feed off of each other. You're taking away the listening aspect of things because there is no dialogue. So you can respond to people's body language and physicality just as much as you can through dialogue. And that's what I try to instill in my students, that you can feed off of body body language, just like you can with dialogue. So I will play you a video of what that might look like in your classroom.
Got it. Got it. And I was not meant for whatever.
So as you can see, they have fun with this game. It can get funny and interesting the more energy that they have with moving forward. Obviously, my students were supposed to be at a dance recital, but they had some of them were good dancers, some of them were not so good dancers, and some of them were copying others. And so they kind of worked together without knowing and without communicating first to create that scene. So moving on to another word association game called categories. This is a fun game for the students because they get to be a little competitive, and you're going to divide the class up into 2 teams. You're going to choose one player from each team to enter the circle and challenge each other after giving them a category. You can give them categories of anything, such as animals, U.S. states, school subjects, comic books, superheroes, boy name, girl names, colleges, universities, musicals, U.S. presidents, colors, actors, actresses, musical instruments, sports, etc. The list can go on and on. And the students have fun competing against each other. And so each student will take turns saying something in that category. So, for example, if it's sports, football, basketball, baseball, softball, tennis, golf, etc. And it's going to keep going until either one of them answers incorrectly. They repeat an answer. So someone says tennis and at the beginning of the round, and then the other person repeats tennis. Or if it takes longer than 3 seconds to respond, I usually do a little buzzer sound. And if that happens, or when that happens, the other team gets the point. So whoever wins the round gets the point for their team. And you're going to play until every student in the class has gone and gets the opportunity to compete. And the team with the most points at the end of the game wins. I usually let students, so if a student wins the round, I usually let them choose the player on their team that they want to go. And obviously it has to be someone who hasn't been for that game. And then that student will choose their opponent. And then I alternate who begins. So if team A began the first round, team B will begin the second round. And then after the game is over, we talk about concentration and how it's important to be focused. And when you lose focus, you could forget, simple things like, you give them the category of animals and you can't think of anything. So we talk about how concentration is important in theater and performance, and that you have to be really focused on what you're doing because you could make simple mistakes. So I will show you a video of how that activity would look in your classroom.
Okay.
All right, Rack starts. Category is animals.
Dog.
Cat.
Bat.
Lion.
Elephant.
Tiger.
Lion.
Sheep.
So as you can see, some of the easiest things can be difficult for students if they're not completely focused. So that student repeated a line that has already been said.